Williams is outside the Supreme Court with Tom Goldstein from SCOTUS blog. Gentlemen, are you both surprised that we got this today and not Monday?
A little, but this, I guess, yes, this term breaks the rule that the big decisions always come on the last day. Because we know there's at least one more day for decisions, and that's Monday. And we got the healthcare decision yesterday, this one today. So Monday is going to be very much of an anticlimax. So yes, surprise about today, but no, not surprise about the decision for a couple of reasons, Thomas. Number one, last October, the court was asked to take this case on a series of appeals from states whose bans had been overturned, and the court declined to take the case. Now, there was no division among the circuit courts. They'd all ruled the same way. And then in the interim, several states whose bans were struck down by federal judges came to the court and said, look, you guys are going to have to decide this eventually. Give us a stay on these orders now, and the court declined to do that. And in a couple of cases, as Tom remembers, the conservatives said, well, we're not giving the states enough respect, but I guess we know how this is going to come out. You agree?
I do. In a sense, the handwriting was on the wall a few months ago, but we can't lose sight of the fact that a few years ago, this decision was almost unimaginable. And so the way the country has moved so quickly, and then the Supreme Court with it, which is a very staid institution that doesn't like to move fast, is a remarkable development. And the other thing I would say is that in a few years, in 10 years, in 20 years, this is going to be like Loving versus Virginia. It's going to be like, how could we have ever imagined...
Which was the interracial marriage case.
Yes, how could we ever imagine having a rule that says that people of different races can't marry? And now that seems so obvious. And so too it will be with same-sex marriage and with gay rights later on in our history. But right now, this is a major development.
And in fact, as you know, Thomas, the Supreme Court just 2 years ago declined to rule on this issue. They had the invitation to do so from California in the Prop 8 case. And for technical reasons, they said, nope, that case is not properly before us, so we're not going to rule on it. It was a chance, and they didn't take it. This time they did, but a lot has happened in just those 2 years.
Yeah, Justice Kennedy, oh, sorry, go ahead,
No, Tom, go ahead with your point.
Yeah, Justice Kennedy goes out of his way to say, look, there's been a lot of time for deliberation here. We've had referenda, we've had lots of court cases, but what he's talking about in the long span of the nation's history is only about 10 years. So it is really remarkable how the court sort of led the country in this direction, recognized stages of gay rights, leading to today as probably the most significant ruling in that field that they'll ever make.
And,
okay, gentlemen, I want to ask you this. Kevin, if
sure.
we can get Kevin Noble-Millard over at the flash cam, because I do want to talk to him coming up. Gentlemen, sorry, I'm giving just directions here on the floor as we're getting our people in place. Pete, when you talk about the fact that they kicked back Prop 8 to California, some people were confused that they took it up in the first place only to send it back. And now we've seen the way that the country has moved in tectonic shifting toward the fact that people personally believe that marriage equality should be legal, and they respect that. Is that why the Supreme Court felt that this was the time, that they didn't feel it was the time for California and Prop 8 to unlock the country as they're doing now?
Well, remember that the Supreme Court's fingerprints are all over the reason why this has moved so fast, because it was the decision, yes, they took a pass on the Prop 8 case 2 years ago, but they decided another case in which they struck down a part of a federal law called the Defense of Marriage Act that barred the federal government from giving any recognition at all to marriages even in states where they were legal. And when the Supreme Court struck that down, another opinion by Justice Anthony Kennedy, the word dignity is in this opinion a lot today. That opinion was shot through with the word dignity, saying that such a distinction robs these people of their dignity. Well, taking that logic, then some 60-plus rulings around the country took that reasoning and ran with it and struck down the state bans. So the fact that this has moved with hyperspeed, to some extent, the Supreme Court's foot was on the accelerator.
And so as we look at the breakdown, those ruling in favor, we have Kennedy, we have Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Breyer, Sotomayor, Kagan, Chief Justice John Roberts, Scalia, Thomas, and Alito voting against this. Tom, in your perspective and doing the work as we saw yesterday with the ACA, for a lot of conservatives, Chief Roberts appointed by Bush, that was a blow to conservatives, the fact that he was supportive of the ACA. Is this a way of proving his conservative chops by voting in the dissent?
Well, I don't think the Chief Justice is out to prove anything at all. Yesterday's decision makes that clear. This is what he believes. He goes out of his way to write an opinion that says, look, I have nothing against gay rights in any way. This is about responsibility for change in our society and what it is that we as judges can do to move society along. It's not our job. This has to be left to state legislatures. So that's a classical conservative view. Justice Kennedy, also conservative justice, just has a different sense of how it is sometimes you have to lead the country as a moral matter on this question of dignity and equality, recognize what discrimination is. So I don't think there's any surprises here in the lineup of the justices. Exactly what we expected going into the oral arguments in the case.
2 points about Justice Roberts. Yesterday's decision, Chief Justice Roberts, yesterday's decision was about interpreting federal law, and this is about the Constitution, and you tend to see these ideological breakdowns more when you get to constitutional issues. Secondly, you undoubtedly heard a lot of commentary, a lot of ink spilled over the question of whether the Chief Justice would join the majority here so that he wasn't on the wrong side of history. I can tell you that the lawyers involved in this case never thought that was going to happen.
No, it really is amazing as we're watching all of this, and we're seeing on the left-hand side of the screen the live images of the supporters,